Well, it is the future of fighter jets. The Trump administration announcing the next generation of air dominance, the F-47.
The F-47 will be the most advanced, most capable, most lethal aircraft ever built. America's enemies will never see it coming. Hopefully we won't have to use it for that purpose, but you have to have it. If it ever happens, they won't know what the hell hit them.
Somewhere over the vast emptiness of the Nevada desert, a shadow streaks through the sky, silent, invisible, and lethal. This is the F-47, Boeing's crown jewel in the U.S. Air Force's next-generation air dominance program, a sixth-generation fighter designed to rewrite the rules of aerial warfare. Announced on March 21st, 2025, as the winner of a $20 billion engineering and development contract, the F-47 isn't just a plane, it's a weapons system formed for a world where near-peer adversaries like China and Russia are closing the gap at an alarming pace. From its stealth characteristics to its variable thrust engines, advanced metallurgy, radar-absorbent materials, electronic warfare capabilities, network battle systems, and seamless integration with unmanned wingman, the F-47 promises to dominate the skies. But what do we really know about this beast, and when will it take flight operationally? Let's peel back the layers of secrecy and speculation. The F-47 stealth isn't just an evolution of the F-22, it's a revolution. Fifth-generation fighters relied heavily on shaping and radar-absorbent coatings to minimize their radar cross-section. But the F-47 takes it to another level called broad-spectrum stealth. This isn't just about dodging X-band radars. It's about disappearing across the electromagnetic spectrum. Low frequency, VHF, infrared, and even acoustic signatures. Think of it as a ghost that doesn't just hide from radar, but blows past every sensor an enemy might throw at it. Whispers from defense circles suggest F-47 employs metamaterials, exotic composites that bend electromagnetic waves around the airframe rather than scattering them. This tailless, blended wing design, hinted at in Boeing's artwork, eliminates vertical stabilizers that scatter radar waves from the side, a weakness of the F-22's bow tie stealth profile. Add to that active camouflage for infrared suppression. Think heat-masking technology that takes the jet's exhaust plume and makes it vanish from thermal scopes. You've got an aircraft that's as close to invisible as physics allows. Against China's network air defenses or Russia's S-500 systems, this could be the edge that keeps U.S. pilots alive in contested skies. Under the F-47's sleek skin lies a beating heart that's pure science fiction, an adaptive cycle engine. Developed under the Next Generation Adaptive Propulsion System program by Pratt & Whitney and General Electric, these power plants are a game changer. Unlike traditional jet engines optimized for single flight regime, the F-47's engines shift gears in real time, balancing high-thrust sprints with fuel-sipping loiter modes. Imagine supercruise, sustained supersonic flight without afterburners, stretched across vast Pacific distances, then a sudden burst of power to outrun a hypersonic missile. That's the promise here. The tech isn't just about speed, it's about flexibility. Variable bypass ratios mean the engine can gulp air for efficiency at subsonic speeds or channel it for raw thrust when the pilot needs to punch through anti-access or aerial denial bubbles. This adaptability is critical in the Indo-Pacific, where the F-47 is designed to operate, covering thousands of miles without vulnerable tankers. Speculation points to thrust output north of 50,000 pounds, dwarfing the F-22's 35,000-pound engine. The F-47's got the legs and muscle to dominate sprawling battle spaces. These engines don't just run hot, they run on the bleeding edge of materials science. The F-47's power plants rely on specialist metallurgy that can withstand temperatures and stresses that would melt lesser alloys. We're talking about single crystal turbine blades, grown like gemstones in a lab, laced with rare earth elements like rhenium and yttrium. These blades shrug off heat that would turn steel to slag, allowing the engines to push higher thrust without torching themselves. This technology is decades ahead of China's vaunted J-22, whose engines not only lock power, but are betrayed by turbine blades that act as strobing radar reflectors, allowing predators like the F-47 to aim for the heart. Then there's the F-47's exhaust system, rumored to use ceramic matrix composites that laugh in the face of 3,000-degree Fahrenheit exhaust streams. Lighter and tougher than traditional titanium, these cut the weight while boasting durability, a must for a jet that's expected to fly further and fight harder than anything before it. This isn't just engineering, it's almost alchemy. And it lets the F-47's engines deliver that variable thrust without breaking apart mid-flight. But stealth isn't just about shape, it's about what the F-47 is made of. Radar-absorbent materials are baked into every inch of this bird, from the skin to the internal structure. Gone are the days of slapping on fragile coatings that peel off in the rain. The F-47's radar-absorbing material is structural, integrated into composite panels that double as armor and signal sponges. Think carbon nanotubes and graphene-based polymers that soak up radar waves like a black hole, converting them into heat instead of bouncing them back into an enemy's receiver. Speculation suggests these materials go beyond radar. Some whisper about multi-spectre radar-absorbing material that dampens infrared and even radio frequency emissions. If this is true, the F-47 could jam an enemy's entire sensor suite while staying off their scopes. This isn't theoretical. Boeing's been testing this stuff in secret for years, and the F-47 is the payoff. A jet that doesn't just hide, but actively erases itself from the battle space. The F-47 isn't just a stealthy brawler, it's an electronic warfare powerhouse. Fifth-generation jets like the F-35 brought sensor fusion to the table. But the F-47 takes it into overdrive with an electronic warfare suite that's part weapon and part shield. Picture this: an active electronically scanned array radar that doesn't just detect, but fries enemy electronics with focused beams of energy. Add in high-powered jammers that can blind missile guidance systems or spoof entire radar networks, and you've got a jet that doesn't just fight, it dictates the terms of engagement. Direct energy weapons, laser or microwaves, are likely going to be tucked into the F-47's arsenal, capable of zapping drones or incoming missiles mid-flight. This isn't sci-fi. It's the next logical step in electronic warfare, and the F-47's adaptive engines provide it with the juice to power all of it. Against Russia's electronic warfare legions or China's cyber-integrated defenses, this capability could turn the tide, letting the F-47 punch holes into enemy networks, all while staying untouchable. If the F-47's body is a marvel, its brain is a masterpiece. This jet isn't just a lone wolf, it's the nerve center of a networked family of systems. Built around a combat cloud, the F-47 uses data from satellites, AWACS, ground stations, and its own sensors into a real-time picture of the battle space. AI crunches this flood of info, prioritizing targets and feeding the pilot a 360 virtual view through a helmet-mounted display that makes old-school cockpits look like antiques. The F-47's open system architecture means it can talk to anything: F-35s, B-21 Raiders, even Navy ships, sharing targeted data faster than the enemy can blink. Speculation points to quantum communication tech for unjammable links, ensuring that the jet stays always connected, even in hostile electronic warfare environments. This isn't just situational awareness, it's sensory dominance, letting the F-47 orchestrating organizational chaos while staying one step ahead. Perhaps the F-47's slickest trick is its partnership with Unmanned Collaborative Combat Aircraft, CCA. These are AI-driven drones that act as loyal wingmen. Picture a squadron of XQ-58 Valkyries, or Anduril's YFQ-44s flying alongside, controlled by the F-47's pilot, or operating semi-autonomously. These drones will scout ahead, jam radars, launch missiles, or play decoy, multiplying the F-47's search without risking a human life. In air-to-air combat, this teaming is a force multiplier. The F-47 could hang back, cloaked in stealth, while its collaborative combat aircraft engage enemy fighters with beyond visual range missiles or draw fire to exploit the enemy's weaknesses. Lacking a human pilot, loyal wingman drones can pull super maneuvers, 10, 15, maybe even 20 G turns that would render a human pilot incapacitated or even dead. Dodging incoming missiles or turning inside an aggressive bogey is easy when you aren't human. The F-47's loyal wingmen will be hard to kill and impossible to shake for any adversary unfortunate enough to blunder into this drone storm or pick a fight with an F-47. The Air Force wants 1,000 collaborative combat aircraft to pair with 200 F-47s and 300 F-35s, a swarm that could overwhelm even the best defenses. This is a radical shift from dogfights to networked warfare, and the F-47 is the quarterback calling the plays. So when does this beast take to the skies? The Air Force aims for initial operational capability by 2030. It's a blistering pace driven by digital engineering and years of secret X-plane testing. Boeing's already flown demonstrators, hundreds of hours, they say, proving the tech is not a pipe dream. The $20 billion EMD phase will churn out test aircraft by the late 2020s, with low-rate production options baked into the contract. Full-rate production would kick off in the early 2030s, replacing the F-22 fleet by mid-decade. But timelines slip. Look at the F-35's tortured birth. Cost overruns, pegged at $300 million per jet, AI integration bugs, or geopolitical shocks could push initial operation to 2032 or even beyond. China's own sixth-generation prototypes, unveiled in December 2024, add urgency. But bringing in the F-47 into being, its high complexity might prove to be its first worst enemy. Still, the Air Force is betting big. With $2.75 billion in fiscal year 2025 and R&D funding to keep the train rolling. The F-47 isn't just a fighter, it's a statement. A plane meant to be the last word in air-to-air combat for the next 3 decades. Its stealth, variable thrust engines, advanced metallurgy, electronic warfare prowess, and unmanned wingmen mark it as the first true sixth-generation warbird. Designed to pierce China's airspace or Russia's layered air defenses, it's a machine built for the wars the U.S. fears the most. But at $300 million a pop, with a price likely to go up, it's a gamble. Can Boeing deliver on time, on budget, without repeating the F-35 stumbles? Well, that's going to remain to be seen. The F-47's stealth is a blackout curtain, broad spectrum, vanishing from radar, infrared, and even acoustic sensors. Think metamaterials, bending waves around a tailless frame, paired with heat masking exhaust, its variable thrust engines, adaptive cycle beast pumping out 50,000 plus pounds, and a shift from fuel-sipping supercruise to missile-dodging sprints. Perfect, again, for a Pacific theater of operations. Specialist metallurgy, single crystal turbine blades, and ceramic exhaust composites keep engines roaring in hellish heat, while radar-absorbent materials woven into the skin swallow search signals whole. The F-47's a flying jammer when it comes to electronic warfare, with ESA radars that can fry circuits and speculated lasers to drop incoming missiles. Critical is its ability to network to a combat cloud, AI-driven, quantum-linked, making it a battlefield brain, directing everything from F-35s to Navy warships. Add unmanned wingmen, collaborative combat aircraft like the XQ-58, it's a one-jet swarm, outmaneuvering foes in air-to-air brawls. But 2030 is a long way away, though 2032 is the more likely date if costs or glitches bite. And what about its future adversaries? Will China's JXX, glimpsed in 2024, boast hypersonic speed and drone integration, but its stealth lags? There's too many edges to hide from modern sensors. Russia's MiG-41, a high-altitude interceptor, leans on brute speed, above Mach 4, and long-range missiles. Yet its tech feels like a 5th-gen retrofit, and not a true 6th-generation leap. Both lack the F-47's multi-domain finesse, stealth, EW, and networking woven into a single package. So what is the F-47's promise? It's a scalpel to our enemy's sledgehammers, built to pierce area denial and sensor envelopes and dictate terms. But if Boeing stumbles, China's mass production or Russia's raw aggression could close the gap. In this aerial poker game, the F-47's America's ace, unless the House calls the bluff. Out in the Nevada dusk, that shadow keeps flying. A promise and a warning. The F-47 is coming, and when it gets here, there'll be a new sheriff in town.
YouTube just dropped a mind-boggling announcement. It is paying creators $64 million per day. Why? Well, because YouTube doesn't have enough creators right now. That's why you see videos on your homepage that have less than 1,000 views, like this one. Now, of course, that doesn't mean everyone should start a channel. But if you have ever wondered about starting a YouTube channel or a faceless channel, now is the perfect time. YouTube is paying creators millions every single day, and it's pushing newer and smaller channels now more than ever. But I'm sure you have many questions on how to start and grow a channel. I get these questions in my email all the time from some of you guys. That's why we have decided to put all our YouTube advice into one training bootcamp for completely free. So if you're someone interested in starting your own YouTube channel, you can sign up for this bootcamp by clicking the link in the description or scanning the QR code on your screen. This bootcamp is like a Zoom call, so it is limited to 100 people at a time, so be sure to sign up before it gets full. Now back to the video. Now just last year, China also revealed their 6th generation jets. There was no official announcement, but on December 26th, same day as Mao's birthday, CCP showed off to the world the J-35 and J-50 stealth fighters, China's 6th generation fighter jets. The J-36 features a strange 3-engine configuration, a first for a plane of this type, possibly to offer the pilot different configuration depending on what phase of the flight the aircraft is in. So there could be a set of engines for takeoff and landing, and another for sub and supersonic flight. The plane is massive, with a very swept-up back wingspan approaching 20 meters or 65 feet. The J-36 is 22 meters or 72 feet long and has a very wide belly, possibly for additional fuel for long missions away from the mainland, and probably to hold a lot of weapons. The weapon bay appears to be 6 meters or 19 feet long, large enough to hold a new PL-17 long-range missile. The plane is controlled by what appears to be 6-combination air brake L11 on the trailing edge towards the tip of the wing. We don't know what potential mission of the new jet would be, but to look at the massive wings and capacity, it's safe to say that it's somewhere far away, and the J-16 wants to get there fast. The other new jet introduced on the 26th was looking a lot more like a futuristic fighter jet than the otherworldly J-36. Dubbed the J-50 Online, the second test flight took place over Shenzhen a couple of hours after the flight of J-36. Featuring a strange lambda wing configuration and 2 engines, J-50 was followed by Shenzhen J-16. It appears to have missile base, a low radar cross-section, giving it stealth requisite for a 6th generation fighter. We can only guess at the new fighter's capabilities, but it is fair to assume that it has clever networking into existing systems, excellent stealth, and AI integration. Who knows, as we approach the 6th generation of fighters, the slate is clean for new innovations and benchmarks. The Chinese and the Americans with their J-36, J-50, and F-47 aren't the only nations developing 6th generation aircrafts. The Tempest and the Future Combat Air System are 2 intriguing European initiatives aimed at developing 6th generation fighter jets, reflecting a commitment to advancing military aviation and technology. The Tempest is the collaborative project involving the United Kingdom, Italy, and Japan under the Global Combat Air Program. Spearheaded by Team Tempest, which includes BAE Systems and Rolls-Royce, the aircraft is slated to enter service by 2035, replacing Eurofighter Typhoon. The Tempest is expected to include a lot of features we decided earlier could define the 6th generation fighter, with advanced stealth capabilities, adaptability, interportability being the core of the design. The Tempest emphasizes a large wingspan for improved aerodynamics and incorporates cutting-edge technologies such as AI, sensor fusion, and the ability to operate alongside unmanned systems. This project is expected to generate highly skilled jobs across the partner countries and enhance their defense capabilities. Future Combat Air System, or FCAS, is a multinational partnership between Germany, France, Great Britain, Italy, Sweden, and Spain to develop their next-generation air combat system. With the goal of replacing existing platforms, including Dassault Rafale, Eurofighter Typhoon, and Panavidian Tornado, the FCAS should be fully deployed by 2040. At its core is the next-generation weapon systems, which will allow a manned fighter aircraft to work with unmanned components known as remote carriers, facilitating manned-unmanned collaboration. Another integral element of FCAS is the Air Combat Cloud, designed to ensure real-time information sharing among all allies in the battle space, enhancing situational awareness and fast decision-making. The program is planning an incremental rollout starting with enhanced situational awareness in late 2020s, then working on man-unmanned teaming in the early 2030s, and culminating with the fully integrated FCAS program deployed by 2040. While China, US, and Europe have plans to dominate the 6th generation fighter race, Russia has announced its next-gen competitor, the Su-75 Checkmate. However, this project could be more smoke and mirrors from the Russian military industry. With limited funding, production delays, and an economy under immense strain due to sanctions and ongoing war in Ukraine, the Su-75 seems unlikely to challenge the likes of F-47, the J-36, or the Tempest. While Russia's aerospace ambitions remain alive, the days of MiG-29 and Su-27 are long gone. Their execution beyond the 4th generation has been questionable, to say the least. We have already seen Ukrainian army take down multiple Russian jets. Here's a perfect example that we covered just a few weeks ago.